Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. Kaiser's here with me this morning, and we have a lot to go over and cover, including a visit to Stupid Town with its mayor, Tim Walz, and so on. So hang in there for that. That'll be at the end of the video. But we got to ask ourselves a question. What are we doing here with all that is going on in L.A. and the likes of Gavin Newsom, as he's called? This guy has lost his mind if he thinks that he is a valued candidate for running for president of these United States after what he has failed at running a state like California, letting the fires happen there because he was not paying attention. And don't even get me started on the mayor who just disappeared and went to Africa for a party while the city burned. Well, the residential section of the city burned. Loss of millions and millions of dollars in homes. People still can't get their property cleaned and get back to reconstruction because of all the red tape that's involved in the city and state of California, where you can't even get homeowners insurance anymore, much less get your expensive car insured. Just in case some morphodite comes along and decides to burn your car in the street in protest of what was going on with the ICE raids. And let me just bring some real news to you for the first time, because mainstream media is still out there telling you on every program that there was no problem in L.A. It was a peaceful demonstration. And it was all whipped up by the fact that we sent the National Guard in and sent in the Marines, and the police had it well in hand. Well, that was not the case. Let me just take you to ground zero here. The ICE raid was not just an ICE raid. There is a storefront and a warehouse that was being looked into for several reasons. Number one, it's run by a cartel. I'm not sure if it's a Mexican cartel or a Colombian cartel or both. But this housed several retail front things that were not so good going on, and also money laundering in the warehouse section, where you had prostitution going on, drug distribution going on, illegals hiding in boxes in there, and it was raided by the IRS for money laundering and failure to pay income tax. This is how it all began. Never mind what mainstream media would like to make you think, that it was just the belligerence of Donald Trump that caused all these problems and the like of that. Not true at all. And yes, there were people in that community that were whipped up and ready and able to go out in the streets. And look at the amount of cars that were burned. Now let's take a walk out to the 401 freeway, the 405 freeway, where they're on bridges hurling cinder blocks through police car windows. This is all on film. And the audacity of the Democratic Congress people coming out to say that these are deep fakes that were conjured up to make you believe there was a riot going on. We all watched the news and we all saw what was going on. There is no way to cover this up. But yet you have a mayor of that particular city, Mayor Bass, that just doesn't get it. She does not want the illegal operations of a cartel touched in her city. Why is that? Let's take a look at Mayor Bass.
It's time to build back better.
Let's go live now to Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hi. So
Thank
what are
you for having me
and
on.
your police force? I know how busy you are preparing for the hours ahead. What are you expecting on that front?
Well, I just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern. It is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be.
A few moments later.
Do you think the National Guard is needed now?
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in L.A. are calm.
Things in LA are calm.
It only gets worse from here.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting. Many businesses have now been affected by or vandalized. Last night, there were 23 businesses that were looted. And I think that if you drive through downtown LA, the graffiti is everywhere and has caused significant damages to businesses and a number of properties. So my message to you is, if you do not live or work in downtown LA, avoid the area.
Whoa! Everybody just relax. We knew this was going to happen.
I will tell you that it is peaceful now. Many businesses have now been affected by or vandalized. Last night, there were 23 businesses that were looted.
Do you think the National Guard is needed now?
No, I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm. So my message to you is, if you do not live or work in downtown LA, avoid the area.
I love this city.
Because it's all part of the plan.
This is a travesty that is taking place in a city that is going to have the Olympics coming in a few short years, and also the World Cup. It's a disgrace. Even Sky News in Australia is picking up on the reticence of the lack of police protection for the citizenry of that town. Run by a mayor that doesn't care that the cartels set up shop downtown L.A.? What the heck is wrong out there? And the crazy push by the Democratic Congress people that are involved, such as Maxine Waters, Adam Shifty Schiff, who has a mouth on him and has no business telling us anything, caught in the amount of lying that he perpetrated upon the public, the fraud that he perpetrated on the American public through the years that he set on the House side, and now these dummies in California put him into the Senate. That's like rewarding bad behavior. And we all know that now. But the money machine that is behind Democratic people inside the state of California is bizarre. Is it Hollywood? Hollywood is a shadow of its former self. They can't even produce a movie worth going to see anymore. If it wasn't for CGI, they wouldn't have a movie. And they can keep making Mission Impossible with that little guy that's out there that's all hooked up with a love for himself, and that's all they have. And if they weren't remaking comic book heroes and remaking films that were once good films and ruining them with their ideas of how to insert bad behavior, and I'm not going to go into the DEI section of it all, is what is ruined Hollywood. If you look at even Netflix and Apple and the people that are producing films, they're producing films in the UK. And the UK actors are getting work now while our dummies are out there pretending to be somebody they're not. But that's their job. Don't even ask me about Clooney. I'm not even going to go there. But the crazy push by the leftists to go on with the fantasy land that they think they live in is showing across the world that we, the once greatest country in the world, which we're coming back to, can't control our own population of misguided, fantasy living individuals that take up the news media today. And I'm a big fan right now of AI because my hope is that they'll have AI like Max Headroom cleaned up and doing a better job at reporting the news to you, rather than have the talking heads with their opinions that are misbased totally on mistruths and misguided aspects of the news, which shouldn't be reported in that fashion. So let's take a look at the craziness that is going on in this country today, right here.
I want to talk about this as a huge liability. I want to talk about this as something Joe Biden can overcome. But I'm not going to go so far as to say, I think Joe Biden must drop out. He is too old to be president. A, because I didn't know exactly what was going on behind the scenes. But B, if Joe Biden is the candidate, I want him to win because I care about the country. And I don't want to be somebody suddenly having the words we're saying taken out of context and all of a sudden part of the case against Joe Biden from the right that would use any person criticizing Joe Biden from the left as a weapon against him. So it was about being honest about Joe Biden's age as a liability while knowing that if he is the nominee, I want to be clear that I thought it was important to make sure we did everything we could to reelect him.
And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
It's unbelievable, isn't it, folks? It's really hard not to laugh at these things because if we can't find humor in what we see every day and what's presented to us by mainstream media and the newspaper networks in this country, it's almost laughable. And don't even go into the magazine segments, like the magazine People that is coming out because they have to promote Meghan Markle, that loser of a person, and her husband that is now chagrined because he can't have the lifestyle he used to have, but she doesn't want him burdened by the past because he lives in the past. Well, he had a great past until she came along and ruined it. But there's a lot of body language stuff going on about her almost daily if you look through YouTube and other platforms that is not flattering by any stretch of the means. And so it begins around the country coming into our weekend. There will be, as Gavin Newsom says, it started here, but it's going to continue through all the cities, all of the blue cities across the country, Chicago, New York. Now they're saying Dallas is going to have riots. Well, guess what? They have a governor that's already put out the National Guard there to Austin, I guess, to stop any nonsense that before it starts there, which should have been done in California. But we're going to see the flashbangs and everything going on all weekend. I can feel it, and it's beginning, and it's a paid insurrection by people that are being paid to set up the frozen water bottles, hide the baseball bats in the bushes, get the bricks on the street corners and the tools to break off the curbs to throw at the police. This is what took place in L.A., and they're planning it for more cities, and I would be amazed if Tim Walz isn't involved in getting something going in Minnesota one more time. You know, that city that is so safe because he's the governor of that state. So take a look at this.
California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next.
But these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They get money.
Somebody's financing it. We're going to find out through Pam Bondi and Department of Justice who it is.
A little later.
Oh, my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
I hope and I pray that this doesn't come to fruition and we don't see great cities in the summertime where people want to go on vacation and enjoy what these cities have to offer and then have to be afraid for their family to be in the streets, lest some idiot throws a Molotov cocktail at your family. And the crazies are getting crazier. They are being whipped up by insurrection promoters and organizer. These people are organized. They're bussed in some cases, but they're all been set up to do the exact same things and carry the flags that are necessary to make you angry that there's other flags waving in your street. And also, we need to come to the realization that it is a crime to enter this country illegally. And then we have the sycophants that are in media and in our Congress that will tell you, oh, it's not illegal. You can't call them illegals. You have to call them paperless or undocumented. Bull. It is a crime to enter the United States illegally. And if you do, it's just a misdemeanor. They need to be rounded up because what we let in here is going to be very harmful for us at some point, because these cells have been set up in and around this country, and then you have to worry about the amount of Chinese nationals that were let in here and dispersed through this country, all young men of military age, all that know how to stand at parade rest when questioned, and so on. These people are cells that have been set up in certain areas and can be activated at some point. And we have other countries that have done the same thing with their people that Biden let through that open border for so long. Misdemeanor or not, these people have to be caught and rounded up. Not to mention that still coming into this country, they caught another person carrying biologic weapons into the University of Michigan again, where the other one got caught trying to bring in a crop-killing fungus that was illegally brought into this country. Now they caught somebody bringing some kind of a worm in to destroy crops, and the gain of function continues, and it's through the universities that these Chinese are getting in with the instructions from the Chinese Communist Party on how to act and react to what they're researching and what to steal and what to plant to and get out to these cells that have been set up. Whether they're going to contaminate your crops, whether they're going to contaminate your water supply, or contaminate you with a virus that will kill us all, they're capable of doing that, and we allowed illegal entry into this country. And this is why ICE has been tasked with the job of finding out where the despots are, rounding them up, and getting them out. And I, for one, applaud President Trump for sticking to his guns on this, and I hope he does open up Alcatraz and give them all their own little island to live on off of California's wonderful coast of San Francisco. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of people. But if we don't start rounding up Chinese that we know nothing about that came through here illegally, then we're going to have a problem. There's red lights flashing. There's sirens going off in everybody's minds right now, and no one wants to do anything about it for fear of crazy Democrats saying that you're homophobic or this or that or whatever phobic that they want to add to it so they can get back in power and continue the destruction of a wonderful republic that we live in. We need to all wake up and voice our opinions and not let the despots in the street burning your towns down get away with it. And that is my riff for today. So let's take a walk into Stupid Town one more time. And we have the mayor of Stupid Town, Tim Walz, is at it again. And then we have some people that are just don't know how they're going to take life because they've been misgendered. So here we go to Stupid Town. Take a look right here.
They keep talking about illegal aliens. First of all, I don't like to use the word illegal. It is undocumented. Coming into the country without documents is not illegal. It's not a crime. It is excuse me. It is
there was a tourist who got arrested in New York.
It is a misdemeanor. And
it's against the law.
It is
if I steal gum, it's a misdemeanor, but I broke the law.
It is a misdemeanor, just like DUI is a misdemeanor, just like indecent
I've been hit by
exposure
a drunk driver who died. Don't tell me that's a misdemeanor when he crashed my family go over 100 miles an hour. I'm sorry. That if you want to say that DUI is somehow a misdemeanor and we should treat it like it's not committing a criminal act, you said it's a misdemeanor like it's the same thing.
It is a misdemeanor, just like coming into the country.
It's still breaking the law.
But that's coming into the country without documents is not illegal. It's not a crime.
Oh, really?
Avocados from Mexico.
And she lied.
I don't like to use the word illegal. It is undocumented.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds illegal.
That's just the nature of democracy. So no, I think at the end of the day, this is a sausage making situation. This morning we have some really good sausage.
You're goofy.
The dysfunction we see nationally, people assume that that's the way it works. This session started out rocky.
A word that I just invented.
Not only do we have about $2 billion on the bottom line, which we meet our constitutional responsibility to balance the budget, we are nearly balanced in the second biennium out. And I've said this, I've been doing this for 20 years, both as a legislator and as the executive. I think this must be the most impressive achievement. And at the end of the day, Senator Johnson played a key role. And we have a budget surplus for the biennium of about $2 billion that over the horizon, since we do something many states don't.
So
I freaking hate to be the girl that cries on the internet. And I'm emotional, because I've been misgendered a lot today, and it's hard. And I'm not mad at people. I know what I look like. But it still hurts, you know? It still hurts.
Well, with that, it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. We're halfway through a week. I'm not looking forward to the weekend, not because we're going to have rain here, but because of what they're threatening to do in cities all around us. So you have to worry if you live in Atlanta. You have to worry if you're in New York. You have to worry if you're in Chicago. And God forbid you're in California during whatever's going on there, because it's not good. We need to pray and pray hard to the Almighty that this comes to an end and we get the people responsible rounded up and either jailed or deported out of our country once and for all. We have a president that is trying every day and praying every day that we are successful at this. And against all odds, every Democrat on the left side of the aisle, we have to pray for them because they are sick individuals, very sick individuals. And why are they sick? Because they lost their power struggle, that they have destroyed the party of the Democrats. And I don't know how they're ever going to recover, because with the likes of people like Buttigieg and AOC and Jasmine Crockett, oh my God, if they are the new leadership of that party is in some serious trouble. And their DNC is fighting among themselves. It is an implosion. It's Humpty Dumpty's fell off the wall and nobody can piece it back together again. No one. But we have to give all power and glory and adoration to Jesus Christ and pray every day to God the Father and through Jesus Christ that we can have peace again come across this wonderful land called the United States of America, and be united one more time. The devil has driven a division between us in several areas, and we need to get back to the basics, and that is church, family, and government. God bless you all. Have a great rest of this Wednesday. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for some more commentary and news bits that may be of interest. Bye-bye now.